CRISPR Roots 3. All right, well, let's talk about what roots music is. Still, it's a word I prefer, I guess. Or the way I think about a lot or most of the music I like is as roots music, maybe just because I don't have another name for it. All right. I guess I listed some genres: Americana, country, you know, bluegrass, blues, soul, probably now, maybe. How about early hip hop or early style hip hop as roots music? I don't know. Or there's definitely a genre known as roots reggae that we'll be talking about today. 70s style, usually Rasta, spiritual, gospel style reggae music. Now, what do all these things have in common, like the blues and reggae and country and Americana and stuff? Well, it's been around a while. But actually, like the roots movement in Jamaica, they called themselves roots from the moment they got going, really, in a way, like return to roots. So, and that's what a lot of this means. If contemporary roots music is a return. And a return, in some sense, in all these cases, I think, to the fundamentals. Like this idea that there is a basic structure that should be respected or something like this, or that still can be explored. The fundamental structures underlying a lot of the other music, right? As well as maybe not a whole lot of vocal effects, I think in roots music you might still hear a live drum. Depends. But boy, it's kind of powerful when you do hear a live drum now. So anyway, I don't know how far that gets us. Back to the fundamentals of each genre in a way. Or, and back into history. And back into the basis. All right. I'm going to do two today. Like I say, this is the slowest period for new releases. Okay, so I don't have a bunch of new country that I think is really cool. I think in many weeks I'll be going like, I'm not going to be able to cut this down to 2 because I like these 5 albums, or whatever. But not this week. It's more like, can I find anything to talk about? I mean, I think if I was putting out music and I was a struggling musician, I might go for early January as a release date just because I won't have any competition. All right, so we're going to talk about Chris O'Leary's blues album, The Hard Line, and Samory's album, Strength, which is roots reggae. I particularly want to draw your attention to the latter. But okay, so let's start with Chris O'Leary. The Hard Line, that's his cover. Put out a full LP on what, January 12th? Perverse. All right. I guess they describe him as coming from the Hudson Valley, but he sure sounds like he's New Orleans, Mississippi Delta, Memphis in orientation. That's what his songs are about, usually, often. I really like this album a lot. I gotta say, like, it's one thing is it really does illustrate this back to the basics idea pretty closely. Like you could have made a very similar album to this in '75. It's your basic soul blues, man. And I can get in a mood where that's what I really want to hear. Like that's what rock and roll is, man. It sounds like Chris O'Leary on The Hard Line, if you ask me. He's a very excellent soul singer, too, and a harmonica player. Seidel, sponsored by Seidel. He uses the harp kind of tastefully. He doesn't, like, blow the hell out of every single song, like I would be tempted to if this was my album. What he does is he blows snatches and solos here and there, maybe even just in the in the fade and things like that on a couple of songs. As a harmonica player, he reminds me of one of my heroes from the 70s and 80s, William Clark, the late William Clark. Clark wasn't a master of dynamics. He played hard virtually every note. But man, there was something about him too, man. First of all, a great player, but you know, just like he created a mood of intensity in that way that I hear also O'Leary doing. Um, well, let's try a couple of songs here. I guess one reason I picked this one out from a couple other blues albums this week, I like some of the lyric moves. Like, how about Insomnia as a theme for a blues song? Well, it's got to be a theme for my blues song, man. I was up at 3 this morning. Pretty typical. This one's called No Rest. It's the first cut. Yeah, and you know he's on Alligator Records, man. And I mean, I was buying everything Alligator put out in the '70s before I was getting the shit for free, I guess. And you know, this would have fit pretty great in that catalog. You know, all of you know the greatest blues guitar players of the '70s and stuff like Sun Seals, let's say. Trying to remember some of the people now. I'm blanking. Who were on Alligator Records? Okay, everybody. And this sounds like an Alligator record. Maybe I think William Clark was on Alligator, for one. Okay. Here's a little snatch of his harp. I think the timbre, like the tone, it's intense, but I'd like to pull back on the distortion a little bit. Like it's to make it a little more harpy, at least in some cases. On some songs, on the slower songs. Like this one, actually. Let's try this. It goes with the Insomnia.
Yes, I cry at night. My best kept secrets are my fears. I wake up terrified, alone inside me. I swear I ain't slept in years.
Okay, how about that guitar player? I mean, I should have looked up the personnel and stuff like this. Maybe these are Hudson River Valley Journeymen? I don't think so. That's a really excellent guitar. And there's a lot of good, lots of great piano on this album. And lots of good harp. And lots of great guitar. And lots of basic blues. All right. Now I have this funny feeling that this one is based in reality. All right. And I've known people who this has happened to. And now there's a song about it. Actually, that is a different harp tone. A little bit.
Yeah, you pull in to West Memphis for a bite to eat. Park the van, I get some chicken and some cornbread and a little sweet tea. You can tell by the Chevy that my wallet ain't heavy. Still got dents from the last 3 collisions. I gotta ask myself, what kind of song bitch robs a musician? Yeah, you go down to Motel 6 after the show. Grab the guitars and strings, just about every single thing. This ain't our first rodeo. They break the windshield with a hammer, do 1,000 worth of damage just to find out that they made the wrong decision. I gotta ask myself, what kind of song bitch rhymes a musician?
Yeah. What kind of son of a bitch indeed. Anyway, really great, like, you know, real solid soul blues type of album. And man, I enjoyed it a lot. And some days I can wake up going like, that's just exactly what I want to hear. Is anybody doing that anymore? Yeah, they are. All right, O'Leary. Let's talk about Samory. Samurai, I, S-A-M-R-I-R-Y-I. And this album, Strength. I don't know. It took me a while to grok this. Been out for a couple weeks, I guess. I guess this is, you know, I feel like this is as good roots reggae as I've heard in a while. Speaking of drums, I could have wished some of the drum tracks were more natural, although some of them are actually. But man, this is great. He's a wonderful singer, Samurai. Reminds me a little bit of maybe like Jacob Miller and some of the 70s figures. He's got the kind of urgency, political and spiritual urgency, that you had in the golden era of roots reggae music. And I guess the suppleness of the singing and the subtlety of it impressed me a lot. And the lyric content is strong. Okay? So I guess I've been listening to this album a lot, you know. All right, so how about, all right, let's see. This is a song called Crown.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Speak the truth, not tear from like it. Righteousness, them never fight it. I listen, I see on the sidekick. Investment in another side chick. Not interested in them campaign. Not impressed, not care the last name. Empty words I take with gas man. So when the kingdom rise up black, I speak my mind. I fear no evil. I take my time. I had my people. I stand my ground. I will not crumble. I keep my crown. Here in this jungle.
Well, I like to let that play. The whole thing is great, and the lyric is so wonderful. But let's try a couple others too. Got some interesting features on here. Capleton for one, the old time like growling DJ, Toaster. 80s, 90s, Capleton, right? How about this just for like how roots reggae should sound anytime, but now. Stormy Nights.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. for spinning you around and around. We just getting started, flying over mountains, flowing over fountains, yeah, until we both rewarded. Wave after wave of these long and stormy nights. We come alive with what the vibe when it's just us in time. I don't believe heaven is only in the skies. No lies. All that I need is what you give me unto me. Ooh, yeah. All that I need is what you as you rise.
Yeah, we had a stormy night last night. An amazing rainbow this morning here in Rappahannock County. And the sun's coming out now. Okay. Now, I guess I'm going to let this one play for a while, too. How about this? A song titled The History of Violence. I mean, that's a lot to ask for a song, right? Like, that's a lot to put on a song, to call it History of Violence. I think this is an amazing and moving song. Who is it? Who wrote the History of Violence in multiple volumes? Was that Volman or something? Fashionable back in the late 90s, early 2000s or something. I don't know if he has that in mind. The idea is to make us less reliant on the history of violence. What does that mean? Okay, something, man. It's got me thinking, and yeah. So unlike the Fun Blues album from Memphis or whatever, like this is intended to preach, and does so very effectively. Like this is, I think, also very it's a inviting song.
Yeah, and we stay around. Yeah, 17 with a clock. Anything for the stock. Trick or squeeze, man a drop. And on the trees, man a chop. Change your route, watch your back. Cause a family has set your trap. When me pressurize, she collapse. Another dream in a box. If I could take it back, give you all that you like, switching the balance from a history of violence. Giving you an avenue to express yourself, making you less reliant on the history of violence. Bad man come in man abroad. AR-15 cleared all. None of this makes no sense. People suffering in silence. The dance for the road that's falling. Reprisal early a morning. After all is said and done, it's a war that can be won. But if we could fight, hope when there is none. Imagine
That's a feature from Mortimer.
shine, but tell me you don't break to see the sunrise. Freedom over always trying to pick sides. Handcuffs and the bracelets we had in mind. Make sure that our daughters and the son's fine. Righteous tomorrows, then yellow tape lines. Play without the worry of a drive-by. No more bullets raining in the night sky. So much trauma, the youths that need healing. Learn how to deal with them feelings.
Yeah, really, I should just fade out on that, obviously. But I didn't, did I? Yeah, so I mean, that's a good version of contemporary roots music. That is, like, it sounds like now, And boy, the way that bass rolls just changes my whole body. But it's also so connected, you know, spiritually and musically to, you know, the origin of reggae. All right. So those are my two for today or this week. Hopefully next Friday we'll bring a greater greater selection of possibilities. But these are good, especially Samory. All right. Later.